Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So we will be making this anime style pancake. So let's open the blender. So press A to select all and F to delete them. Now first I'm going to start with the pancake. For that, press Shift A and add a circle and reduce the vertices to 8 and let's rename it pancake. And then press tab to switch to edit mode. Now F to fill it. Now E to extrude it on a Z axis. Now press I to insert it. Now select the move tool here and move the vertices to upward. Now repeat one more time. Once again, I to insert it. Now press M to merge it at the center. Now I'm going to repeat the same process with the bottom one. So press Alt to and left click to select the bottom loop. Now I to insert it. Move it downward. Now then one more time. I to insert it. One more time. M. Merge it at the center. Move it down. So for the side, press Ctrl R to add more loop cuts. Scroll the mouse wheel up to add 3 of the loops and then right click. Now press Alt plus Shift and then middle loop to deselect it. Now S to scale it a little bit and then Alt Shift the bottom loop to deselect the bottom one and then move the upper loop upward and then Alt select the bottom loop and move it downward. Now back to object mode and in the modifiers panel, apply subdivision surface modifier and increase the levels to 2. Now while selecting it, press right click and apply shades mode. Now press 1 to go to front view. Now instead of Shift D, use Alt D to duplicate it and then right click and use the move tool to upward. Now press Alt D once again to create a linked duplicate and then move it upward. Now one more time, Alt D. Now press A to select all of them and H to hide them. Now for the plate, press Shift A and add a circle and let's rename it to plate. Now switch to edit mode and F to fill it. Now select the edge here and then select extrude edges and move the cursor and press Z to lock it in a Z axis and move the cursor upward just a little bit and then from the front view extrude it on a Z axis one more time and then scale it. Now back to object mode. The frame of the plate is ready and now first apply subdivision surface modifier and increase the levels to 3 and then apply a solidify modifier and increase the thickness to 0.05 and then while selecting it right click shades mode. Now press Alt H to unhide everything. Now for the honey, select the top pancake and then go to edit mode. Now Alt V to enable X-ray mode. You can also enable or disable it from up here. Now go to front view and then select the vertices on the top, and then press Shift D, and then right click, and then P, and separate the selection. Now Alt Z to disable X-ray mode, and back to object mode. Select the top part, the honey, and rename it. Now back to edit mode. Press 7 to go to top mode, and press 3 to enable face selection mode. You can also go from vertices, edges, and then face view from up here. Now shift select few of the faces, and then press X and delete the faces. Now press A to select all, and select the transform tool, and use the blue loop to rotate it on a Z axis, so it's perpendicular to Y and X axis, so it will be easier later editing it with the move tool. So shift select the outer faces, and then change the pivot point to individual origin, and then S, and scale it down. Now once again change the pivot point to active element, and scale it one more time. So once again change the pivot point to median point, and then scale it. Now press 2 to go to edge selection mode, and now shift select all the outer edges like this, and then press extrude on a Z axis. Now to fix the overlapping, shift select all of the outer edges once again, and use the blue arrow to move it upward. So um, so it's still overlapping, so it will be fixed when we'll apply more loop cuts. So press Ctrl R and take the cursor close to the edge and scroll the mouse wheel and add more loop cuts. Now I'm going to give it a shape of make it look like dripping. So select the edges and select the top edge and scale it down. Maybe scale. So press G twice to move it along the vertices, along the edges, and then scale it. Now back to object mode. So I'm trying to make it look like a drop. So extrude on a z-axis one more time, and then scale it down. Select all three of them. So now do the same thing with the other ones. Scale it down. Press double G to move the edges. Make it look like a drop. So don't focus too much on the details, because we will be applying some modifiers. So then we can adjust it later. So for the last one, I want to drip it on the plate. So for that, first scale it down, Control R, and add one more loop cut and scale it down. Now select the bottom edge and then extrude it on a z-axis, and then extrude it toward the plate. For me, it's in the y-axis, so I'm extruding it on a y-axis and extrude it one more time. And scale it to make it look like a drop. So now it's ready. So let's apply solidify modifier. So go to modifiers panel and apply solidify modifier. So change the offset to 0 and then the thickness to 0.05, and back to edit mode, and you can to fix some issues. So here the honey is too I want to make it closer to the pancake, so Alt Z to switch to enable X-ray mode. Now bring it a little bit closer, and then this one here too is away from the pancake. So Alt Z, select it and move it toward the pancake. So now let's add the butter. Shift A, and add a cube. Scale it down. Press S and Z to scale it on a Z axis. Now press S and X to scale it on an X axis. So it looks like a rectangle. And press 1 to go to front view and adjust its position. So now back to edit mode, and then while everything selected, press Ctrl D to add a bevel just right there. Back to object mode, apply shades mode, and then a subdivision surface modifier. Now for the napkin, press Shift A, add a plane, scale it, back to edit mode, E to extrude it on a, give it some thickness, and press A to select all of them, and then Control B to add a bevel. Let's rename it. So now let's start with the shade, with applying the material. I'm using a reference for the color. So go to viewport setting, and now shift select the honey butter and the pancakes, and then press H to hide it, and hide the bottom pancake too. Now go to materials property and add a new one, and then switch to change the surface to transfer DF to toon BSDF, and apply a lighter yellow shade, and then add one more material, and then change it to toon BSDF, and then select a darker red shade. So now press tab to switch to edit mode, and then front view. Now press 1 to vertex selection. Enable the X-ray mode and select the top, and the shift select the bottom part of the vertices, and then press select assign here, and then back to object mode, and now press Alt H to unhide, and the material is applied to all of the pancake. So I'm going to viewport shading, and then shift A to add a light source, add aerial light, and then scale it, and then grab it and move it on a Z axis. Now change the strength to 200, and now go to render properties, and then go to shadow, and then untick the soft shadow, and then bottom here go to color management and change the filmic to standard, and then change the look to medium low contrast, then go to word properties and change the background color to a shade of yellow. So in light property, go to shadow and enable contact shadow. So now select the light, press G to grab and move it on a Z axis to adjust the size of this shadow. And now for the butter, go to material and add a new one. So instead of and then change it to toon BSDF and apply a bright yellow color to it. Now for the plate, add new material, change it to toon BSDF and change the color to slightly off yellow in a yellow shade. And for the napkin, add a new material and change it to toon BSDF, change it to shader editor. Now press Shift A and add a color ramp. Shift A, next RGB. Shift A and add a wave texture. Shift D and duplicate it. And for the now connect color to factor, and for the color 1, color to color, and then change the linear to constant. While selecting the white one, change position to 0.05, sorry 0.5, so it's in the middle. Now scale the texture to 7, and here also change the scale to 7, and then duplicate the color ramp. Now while selecting the wave texture, press Ctrl plus T to add a texture coordinate and mapping, and then change the rotation for Z axis to 90 degrees, and then we have created the checkered pattern. So for the first color, I have applied a lighter reddish color, and then for the second one, darker red shade for the honey. Select the honey and add a new material and change the surface to transparent BSDF, and now change the color to a reddish brown type of color, and then scroll to the bottom here in the setting and then change the blend mode to alpha blend. Now press Shift A and add a plane and scale it, and then apply a new material. Change it to toon BSDF and apply light yellow color. So I have done some color adjustments. So now for the outline, I want you to download this outline helper for Blender by Feline Entity. It's free add-on. Go to Edit and then Preferences, Add-ons, and here select the Install button, and you don't have to unzip the file because Blender does that for you. So select the file and just open it and enable it. Press N and you will see it here. So press A to select everything, and I'm going to deselect the plane and then the honey, and then add outline. You can change the thickness from here. I have set the thickness to 0.01. For the butter, I'm changing the outline to 0.04, and you can change the color of the outline by going to the material, and from here I have applied a dark reddish color for the outline. So we are done with that. Now press Shift A and add a camera, and then press Ctrl plus Alt plus 0 to set the camera. Now press N and go to view section, and then lock the camera to the view, and then go to output properties and change the size of the image that you want, and the file format, and then go to render and render image. So if you're not happy with the colors, you can go back and adjust it and re-render it. I'm satisfied with mine. So thank you for watching.